Persona 31, F, known for saying exactly what everyone else dances around. Worked my way up to people operations manager by being reliable, organized, and quietly intimidating. Been calling myself a feminist since high school type, who treats bluntness like it's some kind of virtue. Got a way of joking that stings, but I soften it with a smile so it sounds helpful. Always been the grown-up friend, the one who warns you before you make a fool of yourself. Tell myself it's kindness, because honesty is cheaper than comfort. And I've always preferred cheap fixes. Guys around me constantly talk about stress, like it's a brand new invention. Anytime one of them reacts badly to feedback, my brain auto-responds if it hurt. That's your problem. Built my whole personality around just being honest, and labeled anyone who didn't like it as overly sensitive. My friend group backs me up, because they like having someone confident and sharp in their corner. We swap stories about fragile men, like it's the daily forecast. Annoying, predictable, nothing surprising. They say I'm blunt, I say I'm efficient, and no one pushes back when I'm the one writing the meeting notes. Anyway, office culture runs on polite wording. I run on outcomes, so I get more leeway. Management loves having someone say the uncomfortable stuff, so they don't have to. That someone is me, and yeah, I enjoy that more than I admit. Whenever things get tense, I step in, call it clarity, and everyone relaxes like I fixed something, feels like control, but I label it responsibility. So I don't feel weird about it in my head. There's a ladder, and I'm always near the top. Then this new guy shows up and acts like the ladder doesn't even exist. Not rebellious, not loud, just unaffected. Like he doesn't need approval from anyone. His name's Tyler, early 30s, basic haircut, dresses like he shops without thinking. But his eyes are steady in a way that doesn't ask for anything. No please like me vibe, no awkward chuckle. No apologizing before speaking. Most new guys in our office overdo it, try too hard to seem nice, like they're in a constant interview. Tyler doesn't try at all, and that alone irritates me. First week, I watch him in meetings, moves through conversations like he's got nothing to prove, asks straight questions, waits for real answers, doesn't rush to fill. Silence with small talk, doesn't apologize for taking up space. And when you're used to apologies, that reads like arrogance. I tell myself, I'm not bothered, but my stomach keeps doing that weird check-in thing. Lunchtime comes, he just sits wherever eats, listens, leaves no bonding ritual, no jokes to win people over, no oversharing to seem relatable, no little, here's my trauma, moment to earn acceptance. People start calling him chill in our office. That usually means not playing along. And guys like that don't last long here because chill looks like indifference. I decide I'll step in, help him out, because helping is how I stay in control of the story. Catch him after a meeting, throw out a casual comment like it's nothing. Tell him his update came off a little sharp. Add a small laugh so it feels light. It's automatic, like brushing lint off your shirt. I expect the usual response, quick apology, awkward smile. I'll fix that next time. Instead, he pauses, looks at me like he's double-checking something internally, then says, completely even, "You're being kinda rude right now." No edge in his voice, no speech about intentions, no attempt to defend himself, just a simple statement, like pointing out a spill on the floor. My brain freezes because I don't have a script for that. Feel heat creep up my neck like my body's gearing up. Before my mind catches up for a split second, I can't even find my usual smile. The hallway suddenly feels too bright, and he doesn't wait for a reaction, because in his mind, nothing dramatic just happened. He pivots right back to work, asks about a deadline, like we're just continuing a normal conversation. That part hits harder than the comment itself. The way he refuses to turn it into a moment, no apology, no tension, no careful tone, just normal, like we're equals. I force out a laugh that sounds off. Even to me, say something like, okay then, pretend it didn't land. He gives a small nod, thanks me, and walks off at the same pace. I just stand there holding my coffee like I suddenly forgot what I was doing in my head. It keeps replaying his calm face, the word rude, the certainty he didn't insult me, didn't raise his voice, didn't make it personal, just held up a mirror and kept moving. That's when it clicks. The problem isn't what he said, it's how he said it. Like, I'm just a regular person expected to act normal. I'm used to men treating me like I'm some kind of system. They have to navigate, they ask permission, they soften everything. They negotiate their own existence. Tyler doesn't do any of that. And suddenly, I don't know where my authority fits. Rest of the day, I'm functioning on autopilot, getting work done on the surface, but internally I'm spinning like a dryer on high, keep replaying what I said to him. Looking for the harshness, I pointed out. It wasn't harsh, it was accurate. And I used harsh because it's a safe word to hide behind. Lets you correct someone without admitting you just didn't like how they sounded. By the end of the day, I tell myself to drop it because I'm supposed to be the mature one, catch myself checking Slack like an idiot, hoping he messages me. First want some kind of follow-up, so I can close it on my terms. He never reaches out. The silence feels deliberate, like I got quietly erased from his radar. 2 days later, we're in a small project meeting. I'm still carrying that tension in my shoulders. He's walking through a plan, calm, structured, no fluff, and I can feel people already leaning toward him. Trust builds fast when someone shows the same behavior every time, and his consistency isn't something I can steer or interrupt. I toss out a joke about how robotic his delivery sounds, little jab, dressed up like bonding. A couple polite laughs around the table, but not the warm, approving kind. I was aiming for Tyler, just looks at me and says, "I'm just explaining," then keeps going like nothing happened, no awkward grin, no embarrassment, no effort to win me back. Over my chest tightens because everyone just watched me take a shot and miss after the meeting. One of the younger guys jokes that Tyler's low drama. I say, give it a week, like I'm forecasting a problem. People chuckle lightly inside. I'm annoyed at myself for even caring, which somehow makes me care more. Tell my closest coworker later that Tyler seems a little too comfortable waiting for her to agree. She just shrugs and says, he's been helpful. That lands like a tiny betrayal for no good reason. So, I decide to deal with it head on, because being direct is basically my whole identity. Catch him by the coffee machine. Bring up the hallway thing. Again, keep my tone light, like I'm offering guidance, not reopening anything. Tell him he could have phrased it more constructively. Frame it like I'm being generous. He listens, face completely neutral. That neutrality makes me start talking faster. Like I need to fill the space he's not reacting to. He waits until I'm done, then says, "You corrected me to feel in control." It lands hard, not loud, not aggressive. Just accurate. My brain scrambles for a response that doesn't confirm it. Nothing comes out clean. He doesn't smirk, doesn't stack the moment, just adds, "I'm not upset." Just pointing it out, then takes a sip of his coffee. There's something deeply uncomfortable about being read, that plainly I feel this urge to escalate to turn him into the problem, because problems are easier to manage than mirrors. So I go for the moral angle, say, people respond better when you're kind. He nods like that's reasonable input, then says, "Kind doesn't mean soft," follows it with, "If you want something changed, just say what and why." There it is again, that clean, direct spotlight. My whole system runs on implication, and he just strips that away. I leave smiling, like everything's fine, but my hands are shaking in my pockets by lunch. I'm telling myself, he's disrespectful, because disrespect justifies pushing back. By the time I'm home, I've upgraded it to unsafe, because unsafe gives me permission to act. Meanwhile, he just keeps working same steady pace, same calm tone, and it starts getting under my skin. He doesn't suck up to management, but they start quoting his updates anyway. He doesn't try to charm anyone, but people keep going to him for help. It's like being competent is its own kind of social leverage, and I hate that it competes with mine. About a week later, we're in a bigger meeting, someone messes up a report. It's this guy who apologizes for everything, the type I usually tune out. I do my usual move, sharp comment, wrapped in a laugh to keep it light. Maybe double check next time before wasting everyone's time. Room goes quiet. Immediately the guy turns red, starts fumbling over words. I'm already mentally checked out of his reaction. Tyler slowly turns his head toward me. His eyes settle on me, steady and heavy. No raised voice, no speech, no performance, just says, "That wasn't needed." Same tone you'd use correcting a typo simple flat, and somehow way worse than being yelled at. Meeting keeps going, but my face is burning. Stomach dropping, can feel the whole room register the shift, like the air pressure changed afterward. The guy quietly thanks Tyler for stepping in, which irritates me more than it should, because Tyler didn't make a scene, he just acted like a normal adult. And that somehow makes me look like the immature one, which I can't stand that night. I'm replaying everything, like I'm preparing a case telling myself he's undermining me, that he's challenging me, pushing boundaries, conveniently, ignoring that he only reacts after I start something. Next day, I decide to confront him privately, because losing in public sticks catch him near the end of the day when everyone's tired. Less energy for pushback open with, "We need to talk about your tone." Tone is my go-to lever. He just blinks once and says, "All right," like we're scheduling a meeting, not arguing. I start listing examples: hallway coffee machine, meeting comment. He listens without interrupting, which somehow makes me talk faster and louder. When I finish, he says, "I'm reacting to you, not going after you." I shoot back immediately that he's being rude, because rude is easy to stick on someone. He just says, "I'm being direct." And my throat tightens because that's literally my whole brand. I push harder, call him disrespectful, say he doesn't understand context, say he's being insensitive. He lets me run through it, then calmly drops, "You can't be the blunt one and also the fragile one." That line lands like a crack straight through me, because it's my contradiction spelled out. Clean my chest tightens, like there's not enough space in my ribs anymore. He keeps going, still calm. "You talk sharp, people take it, and you call them weak when they react." Slight pause. "I reacted once, and you treated it like I crossed a line." I hate how calm he is because his calm makes me look like I'm losing control. So I start raising my voice, not yelling yet, but climbing. I tell him he's making things uncomfortable, that he's the issue, that he needs coaching. He actually looks confused, says, "I talk like this with everyone," then adds, "If I mess up, people tell me and we move on." To him, it's just a normal loop. Say something, arrow get corrected, arrow adjust. Arrow continue to me. It feels like an attack, because I'm used to being the one doing the correcting. I feel tears building, which makes me even angrier, because crying feels like losing my brain, starts pulling old memories out like ammo. Every time a guy talked over me, every time I had to sharpen my voice just to be heard. Every time I swallowed frustration, so no one would label me emotional. Years of that pressure stacking up behind my eyes, and now he's standing right in front of it. I snap at him that he has no idea what I've dealt with. He nods once and says, "Maybe." And that small acknowledgement does nothing for me. I want an apology. I want validation. I want him to agree with my version of things. Instead, he just stands there steady, present, waiting like he's not going to play into it. That's when I fully break, because ignoring a storm makes it louder. I start crying while I'm talking, messy mix of anger and embarrassment. Words just spill out about respect, about boundaries, about how normal people don't talk like he does. I tell him he doesn't get to call me rude because he doesn't even know me. I start listing my experience, my role, my responsibilities. Like credentials can somehow override feelings. I say, "You don't get to decide that." And my voice cracks at the end. He doesn't smirk, doesn't lean back, doesn't enjoy it, which somehow makes it worse. He just watches me carefully, like he doesn't want to make it worse when I finally run out of air. The room is dead quiet, just the hum of the lights overhead. He takes a slow breath, then speaks softer than before. "I thought you were an adult." So I spoke plainly. That's it. No lecture, no comeback, just quiet disappointment. My stomach drops hard, like I missed a step in the dark. The word adult hits my pride first, then my embarrassment, then something closer to fear. My body actually starts shaking. I try to recover, start talking faster, trying to rebuild control, reframe everything. I tell him, my bluntness is honesty and his is disrespect. I tell him he triggered me, so he's automatically in the wrong because triggers give authority. That's how I've always framed it. He tilts his head slightly, not mocking, just confused like he's watching logic fold in on itself, then says, "You can't ask for honesty and punish it when it's aimed at you." My eyes sting, and I hate that he's right while staying calm. I keep talking anyway because stopping feels like losing, and losing feels unbearable. He doesn't argue, doesn't try to win, just waits. Like he knows the conversation will end on its own. When I finally pause, he slowly grabs his bag, like he's already done. With this says, "I don't want to keep doing this." Same flat tone, I start to object, because I need the last word, like I need air. He turns toward the door and adds, "I prefer people who don't need everything spelled out." No door slam, no dramatic exit, doesn't even look back, just leaves, and the silence after feels heavier than anything. He said, I'm standing there alone, heart racing, feels like I just got fired without anyone saying it. Next morning, he's still there, still working, still calm, but now he treats me like I'm not even in the room, and that stings worse than arguing, because conflict at least means you matter. He's polite in meetings but avoids one-on-one with me, completely, routes things through other people, keeps responses short, keeps distance clean. People start noticing, not because he says anything, but because patterns show themselves. I try to joke about it, but the jokes fall flat like no one wants to laugh with me on this. I try to act normal, but my normal is control, and I can feel it slipping in meetings. People start speaking more directly, like his presence gave them permission. The guy who used to apologize constantly stops doing it as much, and the room actually feels lighter. Someone else calls out a sharp comment from another lead, and people just nod, like it's fine, no tension, no backlash. It's like the culture shifted slightly just enough, and that tiny shift feels like my authority cracking. I go to my manager and package everything as concern, because concern is just anger with a better outfit. I say Tyler's pushing against norms, that he's messing with team safety, that he's not aligned with how we operate. My manager asks for examples, actual, specific ones, and all I really have are a couple quotes and a lot of "it feels like." Hearing myself say it out loud makes it sound weak vibes, don't hold up in a serious conversation. She tells me his work has been solid, that his input has actually helped people, then carefully asks why I seem to have repeated friction with him. That same heat from the hallway comes back, like my body reacts before my brain can explain anything. I leave the building, sit in my car, gripping the steering wheel, breathing too fast for no reason. I can realize something ugly. My influence only works on people who agree to be intimidated. Tyler never agreed, so it just doesn't land. A few days later, we have a team retro, the kind where everyone pretends honesty is safe. I go in ready to steer it back, regain control, turn this into something. I manage, facilitator, asks what. We could improve, someone says less sarcasm. In feedback room, goes quiet immediately. No one says my name, but I feel it anyway. Tyler doesn't even look at me, doesn't nod, doesn't add anything, just keeps writing notes, which somehow makes it worse. My face heats up because silence can spotlight you harder than words. I force a laugh, say, "Guess we're all sensitive now," trying to flip it. Facilitator responds gently. Or maybe we're just clear about impact. Impact, my favorite word. When I'm correcting others, now pointed straight back at me. My throat tightens, want to snap back, but I know that would just prove it after the retro ends. Tyler stays behind, packing up. I catch him by the door, ask too sharply if he's satisfied. Now if this is what he wanted, he looks at me like the question doesn't make sense because it doesn't says, "I just wanted to do my job," then pauses, adds, "I didn't want conflict. I wanted you to stop." That word hits heavy stop, like something final dropping into place. I try to argue, but my voice comes out smaller than I expect. He says, "You can be direct without being harsh. No anger, no edge, and that's exactly why it sticks." Then he just walks past me, same steady pace as always. I go home, replay everything, every joke, every jab, every truth. I threw at people, start noticing a pattern I didn't want to see. My honesty always had a target, and it was almost always someone softer. Tyler wasn't, so everything bounced back and hit me. Instead, days go by. I keep telling myself he crossed a line because that story protects me, but my body keeps remembering his calm more than my brain remembers my justification. A week later, he announces he's transferring teams. Short message, clean, polite people. Congratulate him. Like it's normal. No one asks me anything. That's the cold part. The world just moves on without checking my version. 2 mornings later, a calendar invite pops up. My name in the title, subject says Communication Review, hosted by my own manager. My stomach twists because reviews are for fixing problems, not for people like me. I join the call, 2 other leads. Are their cameras off, just listening, like witnesses? My manager starts, "We've gotten feedback about how directness is landing." Then shows anonymized examples. First quote on the slide is mine. Maybe double check before wasting everyone's time. Highlighted in bright yellow, no hiding from it. Next slide shows Tyler's line. "That wasn't needed," labeled as clear boundary setting. My face goes numb. I can feel agreement in the room without anyone saying it. My manager asks how I could phrase mine differently, like I'm new, like I'm still learning basics. I try to make a joke, but it dies. Halfway out, silence swallows. It call, ends last message in chat. Clarity isn't cruelty, and I hate reading it. On Tyler's last day, he sends a short goodbye note. "Thanks, Everyone says he prefers clear communication over careful wording. Someone reacts with a heart, someone else with a check mark. I just stare at it, type a response, delete it, type again, delete again, because I don't know what version of me is supposed to answer. That night I sit alone thinking he shouldn't have talked to me like that. Then another thought shows up, quieter, sharper, and it sticks. He talked to me exactly how I talk to everyone else, when I call it honesty. I built my reputation on cutting people down with truth and calling it growth afterward when that same thing came back at me. Calm and simple. I couldn't handle it. I always thought control meant maturity. Now I'm not even sure what maturity is supposed to look like, lying in bed staring at the ceiling. His voice keeps replaying. Not angry, not cruel, just tired. I thought you were an adult. And it's the disappointment that sticks the most. I liked being the adult in the room right up until someone treated me like one. Turns out, my version of truth only worked when no one pushed back. Now I'm stuck with the simplest thought looping in my head. I used to break people with honesty, and the moment it came back at me, I couldn't take it.